The Munis I hate, as you well know. Here is a man, though, who is not a Muni. He's Gopal Krishna Swami, and he is the head of the Hare Krishnas in Canada and in India. Now, Gopal, what do I call you? Gopal?
Yeah, that's okay. Gopal Krishna Swami or Gopal Krishna Maharaj.
Are you an honest-to-goodness guru?
Yes, a guru means one who gives spiritual guidance. So that is my business, to give spiritual guidance to society.
I see. And you really, all the Krishnas are really cop-outs. You take no part in the practical life of the country. You merely go around dressed in your saffron robes, chanting and selling things.
I would like to say that the people like you are cop-outs. In other words, the natural position of the living entity is to serve God. So when one doesn't serve God, he becomes a cop-out.
I see.
In fact, I think we're looking at things the other way around.
I thought that Krishna consciousness came from India. Are all your followers in Western Canada non-Indians?
I would say 99%.
But any time I meet them now,
I would say 99% of our congregation around the world outside India consists of people from that part of the world.
I kind of like you. You're a nice guy. You're only 37. But every time I meet any of your followers, such as the two you have with you this morning, they all seem rather glazed and brainwashed. Is Hare Krishna a method of brainwashing people into abject serfdom and slavery?
Actually, I'd like to correct your understanding. We don't brainwash people. In fact, from the very birth, the media and the educational system, the society, the relatives, brainwash the living entity to forget his relationship with God.
True.
So what we are doing actually is just helping undo that brainwashing by presenting the real truth to the individual.
All right, if I become a Hare Krishna, I must accept Krishna consciousness, I must understand it, I must give up all material things, I must take a vow of poverty, and I must stand around in the streets chanting Hare, Hare, Hare.
You don't have to stand on the streets.
But you do it all the time.
Not all of us.
You block the traffic on the streets.
We
You
don't
behave abominably on the streets.
No, we don't block the traffic. When was the last time you saw traffic jammed due to our chanting?
Gone to the Hudson Bay.
When? Did the traffic get blocked?
No, but you can't even walk by the corner without being pestered by people in
not anymore.
saffron robes.
Not anymore. In fact, when we are out on saffron robes by Hudson's Bay, we're giving people away free literature. Who is standing in downtown Vancouver and giving out free literature?
The Watchtower and the Kṛṣṇa.
They don't give it free. They request a donation, but we give our literature free. And we are also distributing cookies free.
You're giving away cookies free?
Sure.
Tell me this, though. Do you have some relationship to the Munis, Sun Myung Moon, who has built up a massive multi-billion-dollar empire selling things?
We have no relationship with him or his philosophy at all.
What do you think of the Munis?
Our relationship is with the Supreme Lord Krsna. We follow the Vedic scriptures that has its roots in India. Regarding the Munis, we do not think it's a bona fide movement. It's not based upon authentic scriptures. Our religion has to be based upon a bona fide scripture. Scriptures defined as the words of God.
All right, now how do you get me into the Munis? And tell me how you brainwash me so that I will accept this poverty and this humble existence in a material society.
We don't want to brainwash you. We would just wish that the brainwashing that you've experienced from your birth is freed. That's all.
Right.
We don't want to brainwash you. We want to present the truth. We don't run commercials of the commercials like you do, trying to brainwash people to buy a product. We are just humbly begging people to understand the real reality.
That's another thing. You beg on the streets. You beg at the airports. I've seen you begging and begging and begging.
When did you see us last begging on the streets?
In the last few years, I must have approached a dozen times.
You have the Vancouver Sun article in front of you.
But I don't believe what I read in the Vancouver Sun.
Okay, fine.
You tell me.
Okay.
Have you stopped begging on the streets?
Yes, we have.
Finished?
Yes, we have.
Do you sell pamphlets on the streets?
No, we don't. We give away pamphlets now because our sources of deriving income now have improved. We have a very wide congregation that gives us donations. Many members of our society do professional assignments, and our society is maturing and growing day by day. Even in Canada.
Interesting point. Donations. If I am employed materially and Hare Krishna, how much of my income must I give to you? What is the tithe?
There's no minimum. There's no maximum. It
10%.
all depends. It all depends upon one's realization.
But I must tithe what income I have to your society.
I'll tell you one thing. The members of our society donate on a voluntary basis. There's no compulsion.
How much pocket money do we get?
Who?
Your people who live in your communes.
They don't get a penny as pocket money. In fact, they have taken a vow of poverty. They've decided to dedicate their whole lives for the propagation of God consciousness, which is the need of the society. You should be using your television to encourage the propagation of God consciousness, because this is the biggest problem in society today.
But somebody's got to work. Somebody's got to build the hospitals. Somebody's got to make the inventions.
Fine, go ahead and...
Somebody's got to supply the services. You take all the advantages, but you do nothing practically to help society.
In fact, we take all the advantages and we are rendering the biggest gift to society, giving them God consciousness, giving them the process by which they can realize peace, the process by which they can become happy. The problem in society, take for example Vancouver or any society, everything good is on the decline, everything evil is on the increase. Why? Due to a lack of God consciousness. God or Krishna has to be brought in the center of our lives.
You're not suggesting to me, Gopal, that the state of evil in the society is any worse today than it was 100 years ago.
It is. Take for example the government statistics.
The what?
Statistics. The crime rate has gone up now compared to 100 years ago?
Depends who does the statistics. I could do them again and it would go down by 100 years ago. But tell me this, how many times do heartbroken parents, serious question, heartbroken
parents,
broken heart, heartbroken parents come to you and say, for God's sake, free my youngster from your clutches?
You'll be surprised, not too often, and even when they do come and they see how happy the children are, they begin to reconsider what they have been thinking.
Okay, I have more questions, and I might have time for a few calls to our delightful Hare Krishna man, Gopal Krishna Swami. Excuse my cough. After the break. All that my friend Gopal Krishna Swami wants to talk about is philosophy, but I want to talk about practical things. Do you ban drugs?
Completely.
Do you ban all premarital sex?
Yes, we do.
Do you eat meat?
No.
You regard women as inferior to men?
Not at all. I'm surprised why the media keeps bringing up this point again and again. The women have a role to play, the men have a role to play, the children have a role to play, and they're all playing their respective roles, just like within your TV station. You have different people doing different assignments based on their abilities, isn't it? Why isn't everybody else cheering the show?
Dear old Rick Houston quotes you as saying...
You just told me that you didn't believe in this article of the Vancouver
I believe
Sun.
what I want to believe when I want to believe it.
But he just told me 5 minutes ago.
When I want to believe it, I believe it. You say women are intellectually inferior because their brains weigh less?
We believe this has been misrepresented.
You don't say that.
No, I said something different. I said we've heard about that, but we didn't discuss this. You just said yourself that you don't believe this article.
Women are treated inferior and
they are not treated inferior. Just say, like, for example, if a woman has to stay at home to take care of children, doesn't mean that she is inferior. Women have different roles to play.
Anyway.
But everyone has an equal opportunity for serving Krishna. That is the point to note.
I'll bet you don't get many tough kids in Krishna. I bet you get the kind of university dropouts who are a little confused.
Well, I think you'll be surprised.
And have been through drugs.
Are you telling me the university graduates are not confused?
Oh, they're confused, but the more confused ones join Krishna.
I think the more education you acquire, the more confused you get. In fact, there was an article in the papers yesterday which said that all these professionals are becoming unemployed, really don't know what to do with themselves.
Okay,
so here you have people who have education and experience, and they're confused. They don't know what to do when they become unemployed.
Gopal, you're almost too good to be true. How many times have people been deprogrammed to get rid of this chanting hypnotism with which you infect their poor little brains?
Well, not too many have been deprogrammed, because the reality is, even when they do get deprogrammed, they always end up coming back to the Hare Krishnas, the children, or the...
What age must they be before you will accept them in one of your communes?
Whatever the minimum age of the law of that country is. We do not let anybody come unless he fulfills the minimum legal requirement of that country.
Does he have to bring money?
No, he doesn't.
Gopal, I was determined not to shout at you this morning, and I'm not going to shout at you. I just don't like your sect or your cult.
Well, first of all, we are not a cult. A cult is defined as a group in which one personality is the leader, which is not based upon any bona fide religious scriptures. The Krishna conscious movement follows the Vedic texts, which are the oldest known scriptures to mankind. The roots of this religion trace back 5,000 years, and there are millions of Hindus around the world who follow the same beliefs that we do.
Are you all Hindus? If
Well,
one is a Krishna, is one a Hindu?
Our beliefs are very similar, yes.
But that means that all these guys who with the white faces and the cropped hair are all Hindus?
Our beliefs are the same.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Good morning, Jack.
Morning.
I'd like to ask this gentleman who's teaching his children. I noticed that on the streets there are a lot of young kids doing their little dance with their parents. I suppose they are. Who's putting them through the education system?
We have our own system of education, which has been developed after a great deal of research. And in fact, we found our children to be able to read and write and speak better than these children of other
your
schools.
children do not go to the public schools, is that correct?
We have our own schools.
You have your own schools?
Yes.
You pay for yourself?
Yes, we've developed our own curriculum.
Okay.
We pay for ourselves, we teach ourselves, and the proof is that our kids can read and write and speak better than they're 3 to 4 years ahead of
Is your school system approved by the government?
Any group, no matter how weird or offbeat, can register a school with the BC government, and they can't refuse to approve it. Do you know that? That's a fact anyway, even if you didn't know it. Go ahead, please. Go ahead, please.
Yes, I'd like to ask the Gopal Krishna. I've seen the chanting in the park, and I must say I really like it. I've received some of their magazines and their books, and I've read them. Sometimes I have a hard time understanding some of them, but it seems to me that they really have something to offer society from what they do and what they write. I was wondering if Gopal could tell me what they think they can do for society, and I would like to wish them the best of luck, actually. I think it takes a lot of guts.
Thank you, ma'am. That's a favorable call. We don't need to dwell on it too much.
Well, I can just tell them what we can do for society. For the society, we are giving them education which no other institution is giving. Actually, our institution is an institution where we are imparting the highest education, that is spiritual education.
You say.
Everyone says that.
No, I don't say it.
Because you haven't taken the time to understand
I know what
you are trying to understand us from a
distance. The Western world.
You are trying to understand us from a distance. But if you come closer to understand us, you'll also say the same thing.
I watched a special the other night about all your strange cults from India and all the rest of it, and there were all
these... You should
these...
know what is the meaning of a cult?
A cult is a place where people don't have a free will.
How do you say we don't have a free will?
Because
if somebody doesn't want to stay in a temple, he is free to walk out.
You will forgive this sardonic remark, but I don't see anyone having a free will who walks around in a saffron robe, lives in poverty, not allowed to eat meat, women regarded as inferior, and lives at the kind of low end of the totem pole.
He doesn't live at the low. In fact, he is living at the high end. Therefore, the devotees of Hare Krishna are always happy. Whereas you have to take shelter of meat, drugs, illicit sex, gambling to be happy.
Are you accusing me? Please, Gopal, I will accept your apology.
Well,
yes, I will.
We're talking in general.
That's
okay.
Goodness gracious me. A man of your couth embarrassing a 64-year-old.
No, we're talking in general.
Gopal, really? Go ahead, please. You're making me blush. For the first time in 50 years. Go ahead. Hare Krishna. Would you let parents come and take their kids away?
In fact, you'll be amazed how many parents visit their children on a regular basis. In fact, we encourage our children, our members, to write to their parents.
Okay. You've got 30 seconds to brainwash me to become a Krishna.
You only have
30 seconds.
Our request is, the human form of life has a purpose. The purpose is to establish a relationship with God. Establishing our relationship with God has to be based on some scriptures, Higher than this
Fair
garment
enough,
is the
but you
garment
don't
of...
have to work. If I become a Krishna, I don't have to dirty my hands
You do have to
fixing
dirty.
automobiles or
You
working
do.
for a living.
You do have to. In fact, we have many mechanics who are Hare Krishnas.
Gopal Krishna Goswami. I shall look forward to the future in Vancouver where there will be no begging on the streets by Krishnas and nobody jamming up the Hudson Bay corner.
Well, I can assure you that whoever hears the chanting benefits spiritually, and the glorification of the Lord should be encouraged. This country was founded on the premise that everything is coming from God. So we are glorifying God in public, and the media should encourage it.
My thanks to Gopal Krishna Goswami. And I'll be back with reality and unemployment and people who work for a living or want to work for a living for the society after the break.